Welcome to this video in which I will be discussing with you about security governance. I will give you a general understanding on security governance. Security governance is typically implemented as an information security management system or a formal cybersecurity program within an organization. So we will understand what security governance is, why security governance is needed, how the security program which is implemented for security governance, how does it look like, and through a personal example that I faced in my career when I was working with an organization where security governance was very poor, how we had to pay the price through various security incidents that occurred from time to time. I will share that experience with you to kind of make it clear for you how having a security governance will help and why it is needed. So let's understand then what security governance is through these principles. So these are some of the principles of security governance. So security governance, you can say it is a framework that supports the security goals of an organization, which are set by the senior management, and it helps to communicate these security goals through different levels of the organizations. And it will help for these security goals to be consistently applied and assessed. Security governance, it will grant powers to the entities. By entities, I mean by various teams who need to implement and enforce security. It will grant them this power to implement the security and enforce the security throughout the organization. So senior management, when they decide security goals, they not only set the direction of security, but they also kind of need a way to be able to view and understand how these security directives are being met or not being met. If a board of directors and CEO demand that security be integrated properly at all levels of the organization, how do they know it is really happening? So they need some kind of oversight mechanism which will consistently update them on the overall health and security posture of the organization. So security governance provides these defined communication channels, standardized reporting methods, and performance-based metrics. And most importantly, security governance kind of makes an organization aware that security is not just a technology issue, and it should not be isolated within a small IT group. If security were just a technology issue, then security team could properly install, configure, and maintain the security products, and done, a company would be secure. But that is not how information security works. It is much more than these technological solutions. Security must be driven through the organization. Having several points of responsibility and accountability is critical. So that is why security governance is needed. And how all this is achieved, I'm showing you on the screen a rough security governance framework that I have drawn. Not necessarily the actual real life security governance will look like within an organization, but it gives you a general understanding of what all teams, what all stakeholders go into making a security governance framework, how it works, how it looks like on paper. So it is not just about putting these various boxes and drawing this organization structure for security governance and putting the respective stakeholders in it. The intent is to show you that there are these different security teams under the governance framework. You will have the data privacy team, corporate security team, IT compliance, each with its own motivation and goal for security. On the ground level, you will have further operational security teams. So if you are working with an organization where you see this kind of framework, where you see that the board is involved proactively in security objectives, in setting security goals, if in the board meetings there is time given for cybersecurity goals, if during the town hall meetings cybersecurity is discussed, presented, if you see these kind of teams, data privacy, corporate security, enterprise security architecture, IT compliance, these several different teams within an organization, you can see that they have some form of security governance in place. And then it is not just having these teams, it is the collaboration between them, the information flowing from up to downstream, and then from downstream to upstream. That sync, that kind of orchestration, you know that makes the security governance framework active within an organization. So when the board decides on the strategy and sets the security goals, CIOs, these different strategy teams are involved. The IT compliance and information security, they will develop these policies based on those strategies. The security architecture team will take those policies, they will translate those policies, explain them into these translate these policy documents into standards documents, baselines, guideline documents for cyber defense team to work with, for and then various operational security teams such as SOC team, they will pick up these standards document, they will understand what are the security goals of the organization, and then they will translate those documents into several work instruction documents, several procedure documents. So in one of my video I've already discussed on my channel how the policy standards and work instructions work, and how which teams are involved in this, and how the security goals are achieved throughout the organization. So that is in general how the framework looks like, what teams are involved, what stakeholders are involved. Now let's see how does the security program look like within an organization. So you will have in the center the company assets. In order to protect the company assets, then you will have the strategic management. The strategic management will be responsible for policy design and all legislative activities. By legislative activities, I mean that there are several data protection laws that need to be followed. There are several country specific and compliance specific laws that an organization needs to follow when it is storing and processing information, when it is providing service. So in order to exist in the business, it has to follow certain laws and data protection regulations. To give you an example, if you have an organization working in Europe, then you will have to follow the GDPR, that is General Data Protection Regulation, which is for personal data. So if your organization is involved in personal data processing and storing, which it will be, because employees' personal data is also stored within the organization, so they will have to be compliant to these data protection regulations, to these laws, in order to exist in the business. So you have several teams who will, like data privacy teams, who will be part of strategic management, and they will help an organization become compliant to these regulations. There will be a proper data protection management system in place. So I have already created a data protection management system video on my channel, which kind of discusses this topic in detail. So who all will you see on the strategic management side? You will see the CIO, you will see the IT board, you will see IT compliance and information security, you will also have legal and regulatory, you will have data privacy. These are some of the teams. The list can be more long. You will have more teams on the strategic management side, but to give you a general understanding, these are some of the teams that form a part of strategic management. So then, and on the left side here, I'm showing you some of their functions like risk management, disaster recovery, business impact analysis, policy development, business continuity. These are some of the functions that these teams have. Then you have this tactical management that is safeguarding the company assets. The tactical management, the teams within this tactical management, they are responsible for architecture and cybersecurity management. By architecture, I mean whenever there is a new tool implemented, new technology implemented, to secure the design of that tool, that application, that technology, you will have architects in place. You will have an enterprise architecture team. In order to manage the cybersecurity, you have implemented different firewalls, endpoint security controls, different security controls that you implement. In order to design their implementation, to draw the architecture, you will have these network and endpoint security teams, IT security administrators, contributing from the tactical side, putting these strategies into action in the form of tactics. So enterprise security architecture, as we already discussed on the previous slide, their job is to take the policy, the policy documents and translate them into standards, guidelines, and baselines for the operational team to work with. And then you will also have cyber defense team who will be responsible for developing the defense strategies that an organization needs. They will be responsible in threat mitigation, threat modeling, all these kind of different things. And on the left side here, I'm showing you their functions, some of the functions which are there. And then you will have the operational management, which are responsible for day-to-day security operations. So on the strategic side, the board, the several teams who are involved, they set the security objectives, they draw the security strategies, they pass it on to tactical management. Tactical management picks up those security objectives, creates several standards, guidelines, baseline documents, based on which the operational management then can work. They can understand the security goals that the organization has set on the strategic level. They can understand this through the documents that the enterprise security architecture is developing, and they can understand the security goals, the objectives that an organization is setting for the organization. So on the operational management side, again, not an exhaustive list. I am showing you just some of the teams. You will have IT administrators managing access control and authentication, provisioning and deprovisioning of the users when they join or leave the organization. Very importantly, you will have security operations center who will be responsible in incident response, several security incidents that happen. You will have security operations center. You will have several security analysts working under security operations center to respond to the security incidents. You will have security administrators, several endpoint security administrators, network security administrators. They will be responsible from the side to see that, to give you an example, like if an organization has anti-malware, proxy, all these softwares in place on laptops, workstations, servers to safeguard these assets from, so they have deployed these endpoint security controls to safeguard these assets. So to make sure that every endpoint has these security softwares installed on them, that is what the endpoint security administrators will do here. When some new joinees join the organization, they get a new laptop. Does the laptop has all the necessary security control software? That is the job of an endpoint security administrator. When a new location comes up, when a new office comes up, there the office needs a firewall, a network access control solution. Network administrator will see to it that that location has that all in place. So these kind of, and plus then regular break fixes if there are any issues caused due to these security controls. To handle those kind of break fixes is also a day-to-day security operation activities. So on the left side again, I'm showing some of the functions that are the job of the the organization, sorry, of the operational management teams who are involved in the operational management. So this is how you will safeguard the company assets, by strategic level, tactical level, and operational management, having several teams on these different levels. This is how the security program will look like under security governance. So a security governance will be implemented as a formal cybersecurity program or an information security management system. So whichever these names you call it, but it is the collection of these policies, procedures, baselines, teams, standards that an organization puts in place to make sure that its security efforts are aligned with business needs, streamlined and effective, and that no security control is missing. So that is why you have this security program in place. Now, why security governance is important, I would like to kind of, so how I have understood in my career why security governance is important. I worked with a client who decided to transition from Oracle to Microsoft Dynamics for cost savings. So this client, they were using this Oracle solution for their ERP, and then the CIO and the IT operations director, they decided that let's move to a different solution which will save money. Moving to a different solution was not a problem. They decided that the transition is going to take 3 years because they have their database is big, and for those 3 years they consulted a third party company, a third party support company who provides support for Oracle based products. Remini Street is the name of the company. They provide support for Oracle products, and this company, they assured our CIO and the director that, if you have decided to move away from Oracle to another solution, and the transition period is 3 years, why are you paying for the support? For Oracle support, just opt out of the Oracle support. You will get the support from us at 1/3 of the price, and once you opt out of Oracle support, you won't get the patches for your applications. But why do you need patches? Only if you want to upgrade, or only if you want to provide new features in your ERP to the users, then you would need patches. If you don't need to provide any new features, you're moving away from the solution in 3 years, why go for that support? The support is costing you a lot more, and at 1/3 of the price with us, you get the support. We will do the break fix. And as far as you don't want to provide any new features to your users, you don't need these patches and upgrades from Oracle side. A CIO agreed, a contract was signed for 2 years. It all went great. In the third year, this environment of my client, it started falling victim to crypto miner malware attacks. They had their Oracle server exposed to the internet for integration purposes with other partners, and they used to repeatedly get infected due to with crypto miner malwares. So there was in 2018 a vulnerability in Oracle WebLogic application, which was a RCE, remote code execution vulnerability, and it 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 was a remote code execution. If an attacker could find your server exposed to the internet, all he had to do was exploit it with this remote code execution script, and boom, he had the access to your Oracle server, and he could use the resources for mining cryptocurrency. This is what was happening. The organization, this client of mine, they did not have the patching support from Oracle, so they couldn't patch their servers. There was a patch available from Oracle for mitigating this WebLogic vulnerability, but they had opted out of the support. And this third party support company, they couldn't fix the patch problem. They could provide the break fix support, but it was a security issue, it was a patch issue. So they were my client was in a really tough situation here. So the critical aspect here to understand is that the lack of security involvement in such business decisions, in such crucial decisions, the CIO, without consulting security, he opted out of Oracle support. The senior management on their own decided that it would be great, this would be a great cost savings thing, and they had no concern for security. They had not engaged security discussions with any of the security teams. And so this is a prime example of poor security governance, where the board, if it does not give place for cybersecurity meetings, where it is not involved in setting security goals, and it is kind of taking no efforts to verify whether security is communicated throughout all different levels within an organization. So each person within the organization should be aware of about security. So for example, if it's a financial institution and their main goal is to protect their clients' financial assets and data, security governance will ensure that this goal is clear and understood by everyone, from top management to the ground level teams, from customer service representatives to IT teams to strategy teams. So yeah, that's about this. And this client of mine, I mean, their board, they limited security to technology alone. They had bought all the right products. They had their security teams had installed those products, configured those products. They were maintaining these security products. But security is a broader concept. Information security is a broader concept, and security governance is very important to orchestrate security within an organization. So that's it then. Thank you. I hope this was helpful for you, and if it was helpful, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. It will help me to motivate. It'll motivate me to create more such videos. This is the reference book out of which I had created today's video, and I use this as on-job reference, and it's a very good book on security. All right, then, thank you. I'll see you in the next video.